Hi, this is Base Solution. We still continue with the Google Forms. In earlier video, we saw that once we create a new form, it will start showing here. This is the first one we created and it's showing here. You can see that the sample form is there. In this section 2, we can rename the form. So you can click on these 3 dots and then rename it. So we can say sample form, so that you can organize the form well. Now we are done. So this is sample form, the first one that we did. We will create a new one today and we will also look at how it will appear. So I'm sure by now you know how to create it. Let's click on blank form, and we've talked about all the items here. If you watch the first video, I'll put a link in the description. This time we'll talk about extra stuff. Now let's rename the form. I have some sample questionnaire here we'll use for today's work. So this is my sample questionnaire. As you can see, I've prepared them already. So I'll copy, and this is how I want to rename the form. Good. So it's a questionnaire and I'll put the description right below. So this is the description. I'll copy for time purpose. Then I'll put the description there. Good. So let's preview to see by clicking on the preview icon. We've talked about it already. So if we share the link, this is how our respondents are going to see it. Now let's add more flesh. Okay, so we'll talk about the questions. The first question. There are 2 other things that I want to introduce you to. I intentionally left them last time. Today, let's talk about them. We have the title and then description. As you can see, if you take a look at my questionnaire, you can see that I have section A, section B, and then section C. Okay, but then if you go back to the form, you can see that right after the title and then the description, I'm having my question there. Okay, so this time I'll delete this, and then I'll introduce a title and description where I will use for my session. So I'll introduce a title and description. Please note it well. This is for adding a question. This is for adding a title and description. So I'll add a title and description, and then I will now copy this as a title and paste here. So section A, demographics, and then the description, I'll just put this one there. Okay, Control V. Now let's take a look at the preview. So if someone click on the link, this is what they are going to see. I can now proceed to what? Add my questions here. So let's go back. I will now add a question. So this is a way you can utilize the what? Title and description. So I'll add a question, and the first question says what? Name. So name. I will take a short answer, and let's work with some of the things we've talked about already. Let's make it required. Of course, we want to take the name. The next question is what? Age. So let's add age. The age, we want to give them range. So let's add some ranges by selecting what? Multiple choice. So let's add the age in years. So let's add multiple choice. Say, okay, 20 to 30, another one 30 to 40. It's okay, we've talked about it already, so I'll just add the other in case they want to write it down. Of course, this is what the description says. So that is one useful function of the title and description. The next question is sex. So let's add the next question, then sex. Good. Another useful function of this form. So once I type sex, you can look at all the suggestion. So I can quickly go ahead and click on female, male, and let's add this. I think it's cool. So let's look at the question. So you will see that under the demographics, we have the name, age, and then the sex. It's all here. Let's go to the questionnaire. So after the demographics, you can see they have section B where we want to test your knowledge in computing. So we can now introduce a new title and description. So we will introduce a new title and description, and then we will just copy and paste. So this time I can leave the description empty because I don't have any description. It's not mandatory that you should fill all those areas, but if you want to fill it or you have something useful for the respondent, you put it there so that they can read and understand whatever you have for them. Okay, so for this purpose, we have the first one. Let's leave this one for you to see how it will look like. I'll refresh, and this is it. So now let's put our questions there. Now the first question says what? I can do the following. So we are going to select all that applies, whether we can copy, paste, do editing, and then do printing. Based on the first video, we need to select checkboxes, because we know that the checkboxes will allow us to select more than one. So let's copy up to this side and then paste. So this is the next question. So the first option will be copying, say editing, printing, and then let's give them the option to add other, in case they can do other stuff, then they can just add it. So let's look at the questionnaire. Good. So I can do the following. So if you can do copying, if you can do editing, if you can do printing, you select all that applies. So basically this is just a sample thing I'm doing, but based on your questionnaire, you can create your nice question and then submit it to your respondents for them to act. Let's add the next question. So it's asking of whether this is your first time of hearing about Google Forms. So add question. I'll paste here and put a question mark. So I'll do multiple choice. First is yes, the next is no. Okay, all right, let's check the form. Okay, so this is it. Let's go back and check the next question. Okay, the next question is section C. Okay, but we've already talked about how to add a title and description, so let's use section C for add a section. The section is like a new page. So if we add a new section, this whole page becomes the first page, and then the next section becomes page 2. So when the respondents are filling, after getting to this point, they will have to go to the next page to also check what is there to continue filling. So let's try that and see. I'll add a new section. So the new section, I'll give it, say, page 2. And let's look at what to be there. Okay, so let me give it a description. So here we'll talk about skill questions. Okay, the description will depend on what your project is about, and the page title will also depend on what your project is about. So let's check it from the preview. Now we have this next button here. So once the respondents are done filling, they can go to the next page. Let's click on it. So you go to the next page, and then you see all the other details there. So let's add, we can add a question, and the question is here. Okay, so you realize that with section C, even though we've added a new section, we need to add a title and description. So I will delete this. Okay, I will not delete, I will add, and we will move so that we get to know that one. So I'll add a title and description. Now the title and description is below question 1. So I'll move it up by moving the pointer here and then clicking and then dragging up. Okay, so this is how you can do for all the others. You can move it to any location you want. Now I'll give it section C, importance of Google Forms. Okay, so this is section C, and then in the description I'll tell them what to do. So this is what we are going to do. You indicate. So we'll put the description there, and we can add a question. So this is one useful feature about the description. Let's add a question. Okay, Google Form, what does it do? Okay, let's make it quick. Speed. Okay, so speed, automatically we have the scale. So we can label the scale. Now we have a scale of what? 1 to 5. In this session, we can say that if you strongly would agree, it's 1. 1. If neutral is 2. If you strongly disagree, is what? 3. So let's come back. Google Forms, speed. Let's change the rating to what? Scale to 3, so that it will match this one. Now let's preview and see. Reload. Let's go to the next page. So this session describes what the respondent need to do. If you select 1, meaning you agree strongly. If you select 2, meaning it's neutral, and then 3, same. We can use this, or we can, let's try the next one. we can use multiple choice. Okay, but that is when we've added a new section. So let's add a new section. I'll add a new title and description. Then I'll paste this. I'll add a new title and description. The title will be the same. Good. So this time we won't use the scale, but rather we'll add a question and then we'll use multiple choice. Okay. So with the multiple choice, we'll select speed. The first one will be, use multiple choice. The first one will be what? SA. The next one will be what? N. Then the next one will be SD. So you choose the one that you prefer. Let's check the preview. Next. Good. So based on this, they can select from the responses. All right, so I think we've talked about most of the questions that we will use in questionnaire. Let's look at the other features. Now you realize that this is the preview link. Okay, supposing you are done with the form, you now want to take responses. You want to collect responses from your participants. You can click on send and you can type the email of the recipient. You can also change the title and then you type your message to them. If you want the link, you can also click on this button here and copy the link. You can even shorten the link. Yes. Or if you have a website, you can embed this in your website so that whoever visits there will know and then fill the form. Okay. You can also click on these three dots here. Click on it for more, and then you can get a pre-fill link. So let's get it by clicking on it. This is the link. Okay. So we can check all the pages. If everything is intact, then we click on get link. So now the link is copied. We can paste it anywhere. You can just open your notepad and then paste the link. Copy link. Sorry, I didn't copy it earlier. So you click on copy link and then you paste. So this is the link that you share to your respondents and then they will fill and submit. Back. So we've talked about the pre-fill link. You can add collaborators, people that will also help you. You can set whether they can edit or just view the form or view the responses. So let's look at the responses. You can click on responses. Currently we've not filled anything, so the responses are 0 and we are now accepting responses. So once someone fills this and submit, we will see the response here. If we turn this off, it means no one can submit again. Please take note of that. And once you collect all the responses, you can click on this, which will open a spreadsheet for all the responses, and then you can import them and then use it for any work that you want. Okay. So back to the questions. Let's talk about one other thing. Let's look at this setting button here. Click on it, and under the general tab you can collect emails. So if we check that one, it means that What does it say? Respondents would receive a copy of their responses. So once this one is on, it means whoever fills and submits will also receive a copy of whatever will be submitted to you. Okay, so the options are here, whether you want the respondents to request for it or you put it on always. There's an option which will also allow you to limit response to only one person. So if someone fails, they cannot fail again. But that one will require that they sign in with their email. So once you check this one, it means you don't want people to be filling the link. They will submit and fail again, submit and fail again. So it will require their email to log in before they can fill your form and then submit. Okay, I think we all understand this, whether you want them to edit after submit. So assuming somebody submits and then they realize that, look, I want to make changes to this, they can use the link to submit another form. Okay, so this one too, if you want them to see the summary, say 20 people have submitted, 30 people have submitted, you can also check this. Let's go to the presentation tab. So whilst people are filling the form, you can show a progress bar that, oh, you are almost done. You're at page 1, you're at page 2. You can also shuffle the question order. So this one, if let's say first respondent clicks on the link, they are going to see maybe name as question 1, and then sex as question 2, age as question 3. The next respondent also click on it, they can see maybe sex as question 1. That one probably is useful when you are using the quizzes feature. And then once someone is done submitting, what do you want to tell them? So you can type that message here, check where under presentation tab, and then confirmation message. So maybe you can say, thank you for your response. So if you did a question on quizzes, we also have the quizzes tab where you can do a lot of things. So you can turn the question into quizzes, and then you can see all the options available. Okay, so once you are done with everything, you just save. So let's turn this off, it's not a quiz. You save, and that is it. Now you should be able to create any form, survey or questionnaire, and then collect responses for your projects. Thank you for watching, and see you in other videos.